Hello everyone and welcome to another How Lou Sees It preview. I am previewing Antimony today, a game designed by John Bellucci and published by Button Shy Games. This is going to be in their wallet line, I do believe. And so I received a preview copy. This is, not final artwork or anything like that, although it looks like they're pretty much there as far as the game design and the cards go. So, what is Antimony? At first, when I opened this up, I was like, ooh, one ring to rule them all, and in the dark, oh no. But it is interesting because the game consists of basically two sorcerers. This is a game for 2 players, and it's made up of basically 16 cards. So the setup and everything of the game. So again, this being a preview, you'll notice I have some little tokens here that I'm using. I don't believe the game is going to come with these, but they may. I believe it's just going to be the cards. So I've grabbed 10. You'll need 10 of these tokens. And then you have the deck of cards and you're ready to go. Game setup is really, really easy. You're going to shuffle up these cards and you're going to deal out 9 to the center here, face up in a row. And then the 10th one will be face down here. And the remaining 6 cards will be dealt face down. I have them face up over there, just so we can look at the cards there. But face down to the other players, or the other player. So you have 2 players. They'll have 3 cards each in their hand at any given time. And then we have the board set up here. You will then look at the whatever the card down here is, that color, you're going to place a token on that color. Okay, so this is kind of the end of one of the games that we just played with my wife recently, and she won, by the way. And so the setup's really, really simple, and so is the gameplay. So you have 3 cards in your hand. On your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to play one of your 3 cards for a movement, and you must do this first. And now you can move with the cards in 3 different ways. So the number allows you to move forward in time. So this game, the theme of it is you're a sorcerer and you're seeking these ancient relics, and they have this powerful magic. And so you're trying to collect these different relics. You're creating a paradox by gathering these relics. And these paradoxes you obtain by, in your hand after your movement, either having all the same number, all the same color, or all of the same symbol. Okay, so that's the goal of the game. And the goal is to acquire 5 paradox crystals. And so that is one way that you will acquire those crystals. The other way we'll get to here in a second. But again, in the movement, you're going to play 1 card, and you're going to be moving forward and backward through time. And so what's happened, you play this, I can move forward 1. So when you play a card, you're going to be moving either forward in time by the number or backward in time by the color or symbol here. So with this card, I could move forward, which is always to your right. So the other person's forward is that way. But I can play that, and I would move forward 1. And then this card will be placed in its stead, and I will acquire this card into my hand. Okay. And that's basically the turn. After that, you're going to check and see, okay, do I have a paradox? And again, so let's say I had actually just reversed that, and so I just acquired this card here. Usually, this would be considered a paradox, right? Because I have all 1s. But the other thing, you have 1 restriction that changes throughout the game. So this token is currently on purple, meaning that I cannot have a purple colored card as part of that paradox. So this normally would be if, let's say, that token was on green, then this would be a paradox. When you do that, you reveal that, you acquire one of the paradox crystals into your supply, and you rotate this clockwise to the next color. And then you place the 3 cards here either to the left or right of your sorcerer, and seeing that there are no 3 spots to the right, this doesn't wrap around or anything, I would have to place these cards here. So I would gather up these 3 cards, take those into my hand. These other ones, you don't get to choose the placement of these, so you would randomly shuffle these up and then flip them over randomly into that space there. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to check to see if a clash happens. In this case, it would not happen. A clash happens when your character ends and goes at the end of your turn, you're in the same location. In that case, a clash would happen and you add up the different numbers on your cards, except for, we still come back here, any cards that are red currently right now, whatever this is on, are 0. So this 3 in my hand is now a 0. So I would add them up and I would have a 6. They would go over to my opponent, they would have 4. I would win that clash and I would steal one of my other player's tokens. Okay? And so that's the clash, and that's really the basics of the game there. And as far as the movement, I think I described the movement, but for another example just here, if I were to play this card here, again, you have to move the exact amount, so it's not up to 4. And since there's only 2 spaces here, I won't be able to move forward using this card. I would need to play either a 1 or 2 to be able to move forward. But with this, I could move back to a blue card, which there is not any blue cards, but I could move to the symbol. So I could play this and move either to this one here or this one here. And again, you would switch out with whichever where you end up and take that card into your hand. So the gameplay is actually really kind of interesting as far as collecting these cards and looking at, over here, they call it the codex here, which cards you're allowed to utilize in a paradox, and which cards are going to be 0 in your hand if you come to a clash. And you're also seeing, okay, well, this is going to be the next one. And so it does provide an interesting gameplay there. So I think the artwork of the cards is actually pretty cool. This one here, I think, is pretty reminiscent of Maleficent from the Disney characters there. But I like the game. The game is interesting, and I'm these kind of micro games with these just few cards. I'm impressed with kind of the decision making and the gameplay of it, and the clashes, and it has a different kind of idea to it. We initially started and it was kind of like, oh man, how are we going to get these paradoxes made? It seemed kind of difficult right at the beginning, but as soon as we got into the gameplay, it started going, and it actually plays pretty quickly. So the gameplay I really, really like. As far as the theme goes, I kind of struggle with this one. I like, sorcerers and time travel and those sort of things, but I wasn't really feeling the theme very much in this one. That being said, the actual gameplay is fun, and I really enjoyed it. So that is Antimony, and that is how Lou sees it.